Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Gil from IPG Rentals, and today we're going to be talking about the MD Cross version 2 from DECIMATOR Designs. Let's check it out. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive in. First, you're going to notice right off the box, besides the iconic red design from DECIMATOR Designs, you're going to notice the 4 keys here in the front. You have your left and your right arrows, your back and your enter keys. Those are what drive the menu inside of the device. But before we can get into that, let's talk about what's on the outside. You have all your inputs and all your outputs for your HDMIs and your 3G HD SDI ports. So why don't we go ahead and turn this on, see what's inside of it. Then we're going to go ahead and dive into the MD Cross version 2 software by DECIMATOR Design so we can go over the setup menus and the options inside of the software itself. Alright, so before we can go ahead and even get into the software on the computer, you need to make sure that you can download the software to your computer. Go ahead onto the DECIMATOR Design website and you'll find the link for it. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and take the MD Cross version 2. In the package, it comes with a power supply and a USB. Quick little note about the power supply. I think it's actually pretty cool. It's not just a plug-in power supply. It actually has thread to where you can screw it in because it is usually in a dark corporate or AV area where it's usually dark and people can hit it and kick it and it still won't come unplugged. That's just a cool little tip and a cool little trick that I think is very handy that DECIMATOR does with most of their products. So before we can even get into the software hooked up to the DECIMATOR, we obviously have to get power to it. So let's go ahead and take the power cable that comes in the box. We're going to go ahead and plug it in. If you're looking at the DECIMATOR, it's going to be on the left side. You're going to go ahead and plug that in. And like I said before, it has the thread. So once you go ahead and tighten your thread, you're going to notice that it has your input status. Right now there's no signal going to it, but we're going to obviously attach signal to it in a little while using the laptop hooking up to the 17-inch monitor from HDMI to B and C. So before we can even do that, we have to attach it to the USB cable that comes inside your box. We're going to hook it up to the computer and at least see what status and settings are in there. Note, you do not need to use the software that comes on your laptop to be able to operate this device. That's what these arrows and these buttons here are for, but it's a lot more efficient for me and for me to be able to show you to do it off the software, and I also think it's a little bit quicker. But you have your menu and your enters and your backs and your select keys all right here on the device for quick selection, which is the same exact thing that's going to be on the software. Let's go ahead and plug in the USB to the converter, which is going to be also connected to the laptop so they can read each other and we can go through the software together. The USB doesn't send any type of power or anything like that to the device. You will always need the power supply for it. But the USB, not only does it connect it to your computer to be able to set up your settings, it also allows you to do firmware updates, which are available inside the software just by clicking of a button. It tells you where your device is at and if there's a software update that is needed or not. So once you have the USB connected, you're going to see here in the top left corner a button that says scan. Right next to that, you're going to see a word that says none. That's because right now, even though the USB is connected, it's not reading any devices. So you're going to go ahead and click on scan. And as soon as you hit scan, you're going to see MD Cross 2, and that's just the way the stock name came. You can change the name by going to status, custom name right here. You can name it whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and just name it IPG Cross CONV. So that right there, now that device is named personally us, and if you have more than one device, which is why you have the scan section, if you have more than one device doing different things and you're hooked up to the same computer with the same software, that's how you distinguish the differences between the 2, 3, 4, 5, however many devices that you have. Once you have that done, you're going to go here to control. So here you're going to see you have your SDI output source, your HDMI output source, HDMI output type, scalar test pattern source, all the way down. You have overlays. You'll see here no signal background color. We have ours set to cyan right now, but you're going to see it has black, blue, green, cyan, red, magenta, yellow, white. Those all give you the different options if you have different boxes that are set up throughout your show and a monitor goes out. You could tell by the color of the background of the monitor which one it is that actually went out. It kind of helps you figure out which one went bad faster. From there, you have your 3D SDI output format, A or B, which is your 1 or 2. And then you also have your output loop enabled or disabled. From there, you have everything from TP scaling, audio meters. So you have your gradicules, text overlays, and then you have your setup. Also, updaters, you saw that I mentioned earlier, it does say update firmware. You go ahead and you click on that, and it will say, warning, device CPC05465 already has the latest firmware. Are you sure you want to continue? I don't want to go ahead and update the firmware because it does have the latest, but if it didn't have the latest, it would tell you there, and that's how easily you'll do it. So anyway, so back to the software. You're going to see here, you have control. Let's go back to control. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to take the image from the laptop, which is HDMI out, and go into the 17-inch monitor, which does not have an HDMI. So I'm gonna have to go SDI. So that's where this thing comes in handy right here. It can do a lot more, but this is just a quick example of what it can do. You can go from cameras, you can go from laptops, you can go from switchers. Everything that you need to do is right here in this device. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna take the HDMI from the laptop into the HDMI input of the MD Cross. So let's go ahead and plug that in. So now I'm going to want to take this BNC and I'm going to want to go ahead and plug this into the converter. We have the HDMI out of the laptop to the HDMI in of the MD Cross converter. Now I'm going to take this and put it into the first port of the output of the 3G HD SDI port. Once I plug that in, as long as my settings are right on the software that we already went over, boom, you already got image. I'm going ahead and going to show you just basically a second screen of what this laptop is sending, but you can go ahead and you can play video, you can do whatever your laptop is doing, it's going to mirror it. Whatever your laptop or camera or whatever your source is coming from, that is the image that you're going to have. So with this, you can see if it was a PowerPoint, if it was a video, this monitor right here doesn't have any audio that can come out of it, so we're not able to send any audio through it, but that's why we have no audio passed. But again, you can select from 0 to 2, all the way up to 8 channels of audio if you had a video that was playing through it. All right, so there you go. That's the MD Cross version 2 from Decimator Designs. If you found this video helpful or you want to see more videos like it, please comment, like, and subscribe on the link below, because every Monday we're going to drop a new video just for you, because at IPG Rentals, it's our gear, your vision.